Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for watching today's video. My name is Tara Volade and today I want to talk about something I've been hearing around on the internet, and that's changing your workers permit, your visitor's visa to workers permit in Canada, and also talk about other ways, like other pathways to immigrate to Canada in 2024. Now let's quickly touch on the visitor's visa to workers permit. I know a lot of agents have been saying it, like you can change easily from visitor's visa to workers permit in Canada, and they are saying this because they are only interested in the money they want to get. Don't get me wrong guys, I know it's possible, but it is extremely hard to do. Maybe 1 in 50 people are able to do this. You know, most people that end up coming into Canada with visitor's visa and they want to change it to workers permit, they end up going back to their country, and the people that don't go back end up filing for asylum. And I'm sure you've seen the news recently on what's happening to asylum seekers, where the Canadian government don't have enough spaces, especially in Toronto, where there have not been enough spaces and some of them have been sleeping outside. And on the news recently, I heard that one of the asylum seekers sleeping outside, died. I guess because of the extreme cold conditions, you know. Imagine sleeping outside in this cold. So it's not as easy as people make it look like. Like you just come, change your visitor's visa to workers visa to workers permit. It's not as easy as they make it look, because you first of all even need to get a job. Ask people that are here, citizens and permanent residents and students, how easy it was for them to get a job, right? Ask. And remember, you have just 6 months as a visitor to spend in Canada, so you need 6 months to do all that. And really, once employers hear that you're a visitor, they really do not want to get invested in all that process, really. So that is always the issue, trying to get a job, because without a job you can't change to a workers permit. That is always the issue. Getting the job is always the hardest part, really. And so guys, it's not always as easy as people are making it look like. I've seen people where they had to go back to their home country because they couldn't find a job. So don't let anybody give you the wrong information. And guys, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to discourage anyone. In fact, my channel is about how to immigrate to Canada and how to thrive in Canada, really. So I just want to give you enough information that will allow you to make informed decisions. It's something when you think that is easy to do and then you come here and get disappointed. But it's another thing when you know what you would likely face when you come here. So if you're trying to do that, you know, change your visitor's visa to a worker's permit, have it at the back of your mind that it is not as easy as people make it look like. Like you just come here, get a job and then change. No, it's not. It's extremely difficult, guys. But it's doable, but it's extremely difficult. Talking about immigration options, we have express entry. Everybody knows about express entry. There's the foreign worker stream, there's the trade stream, and there's the PMP as well. One thing I would say is explore these other options. Let express entry be your plan A, B, C, D, E for immigrating to Canada. Then let maybe student visa and workers permit, let it be your other options coming after those the express entry options. And that's because express entry really is the best way to immigrate to Canada. It's the best way, because when you use the express entry option, you're coming into Canada as a permanent resident. If you come through the student visa or the workers permit, you're not a permanent resident yet. But when you go through express entry, you're coming in as a permanent resident, and so you have access to, you know, government resources when you're trying to settle down, and that makes it very easy to settle down in Canada faster compared to the other immigration options available. Let express entry be your A, B, C, D, E option. If option A is not working, what's option B in express entry? What's option C in express entry? What's option D in express entry? Exhaust all the options in express entry. If, for example, you You can, your IELTS, if you're not meeting up with the points, for example, have you maximized your IELTS? Have you tried to write your French exams? Have you, if you don't have, maybe you have just a BSc, have you tried to get an additional degree? Those are the things that you need to explore when you're trying to apply through express entry. Also think about PMP as well. Still tied to express entry. Think about PMP. Have you checked out Saskatchewan's PMP program? There's Manitoba, there's Ontario, there's Nova Scotia. All those provinces, they all have their PMP options, their PMP program, that you can check and see the one that you can apply for. I know express entry is time consuming, it takes a lot of money and all that. But at the end of the day, when you're coming in as a permanent resident. I came in through express entry, and when I was processing an application, for example, it took about 4 years before I even submitted the application. It took about 4 years. That's in writing IELTS, in getting additional degree, because I had just a BSc, so I had to get an additional degree. In trying to go to attend French classes. I was also thinking of writing French exams, but I did not need to do that. I have a video on my channel where I spoke about how I immigrated to Canada and went through all this process in there. At the end of the day, like I mentioned, you're coming in as a permanent resident, and that's actually the best way to immigrate into Canada. So explore those options. If you feel that you're not meeting up to the scores, have you tried to write your IELTS again? Have you maximized your IELTS points? Have you maximized your educational points? Have you maximized your language points? IELTS, French. Have you tried to go for French classes, do French and all that? Try to calculate your score. Add those scores together. As me, you go for French. As me, you maximize your points, and all that. Check out what your score would be. If it's going to be enough for you to get an ITA considering the current scores, then go for it. And if you know that you don't want to go through that route, there's the PMP as well. Check out the provinces, check out the programs that they have for PMP, and see the one that best fits your profile, and then you can go for that. But what I'm just trying to say really, guys, is explore that option first. Exhaust the options before you now decide to go through the other routes. Now, talking about the other routes, the next one is the student route. That's another great option of coming to Canada. If you feel that you've exhausted all the options for express entry, the student route is another great way, But one thing I want to say, if you are coming in as a student, is come in with your tuition fees. I've met people where they think that you can come into Canada and start working and use that money to pay for your tuition fees. I don't know how it is in other countries, but that's extremely hard to do in Canada. Because number one, Canada is expensive. The money that you'll be able to make while working will be okay for your expenses, but not for your school fees. So have your money available before you come. Make sure you have your school fees available before you come. Another thing I want to say, if you're coming through the student visa or the student route, is the province that you're going to. Make sure that the province that you're going has a friendly PR pathway for students. Not all provinces have that. So do your research and make sure that the province you're going to has a friendly PR pathway for students where you can change easily from being a student, after you finish school and when you have your postgraduate work permit, where you can easily get your PR, here in Canada. So that's one thing you should also consider as well. Now, the last one is the workers permit, where you can get a job from anywhere you are, and then you get a workers permit, and then you come here and then you work. And how that works mostly is you need to get a job from where you are, and then when you get a job, you get your workers permit, and then you come down. And this pathway is, I would say, it favors the people in tech. I know people that has happened to. They were in their home country, they got a job, and then the company processed their worker permits, and then they're able to come down here. So if you're a software developer, for example, maybe front end or back end or both, or you're a product manager, for example, I know that those roles, they can get job outside of Canada, and then the company will process their their work permits for them. At least I know that one. I know people that have done that here. I have colleagues that have done that here. So there's a website where, as a software developer, or like the roles that I've mentioned, you can go there, put in your profile, put in your resume and all, and the organization will go to that website. They usually go there and check out people's resumes and profiles. So, and if they're interested in you, they will send you a message. You have an interview, and if they like you, you get the job, and the company will file for you. Maybe like 3 months or 6 months after, the company will file for you, and then you come down to Canada. So that's another great way, especially for people in tech. That's another great way to immigrate to Canada. Then when you come in, you can then find ways to convert to a permanent resident if you're interested in that. So that's one great way as well that I know. If I find the websites where you can go in and put your resume and all, I will put that in the description channel below. So guys, that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching to the end. I hope that you were able to learn 1 or 2 things. And please guys, don't forget to share, to subscribe, and to like this video. Bye.